Perfect. Now it is. Here we go. We got the lady saying recording in process. Perfect. And yeah, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. Alex and myself, we are quite excited about this topic. First of all, nice to meet you. I'm Sarah. And yes, as I said, Alex and myself really wanted to have a conversation about a topic we love because, am I wrong, Alex? It's the core of our businesses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sustainability, being sustainable. But as we said, there's a lot behind the scenes when it comes to sustainability from a business perspective, from a personal perspective. So let's clarify a little bit. Let's put it this way. So, Alex, do you want to start? Shall I start?
You want to share the screen? Yeah.
Absolutely. And here we go. Perfect.
So, welcome everyone for this lunchtime talk. Thank you for joining us today. We hope to inspire you with the 10 R's for your business and your sustainable journey, both personally and in your business. So you're going to hear from Sarah and myself. I'm going to start off with my 5 R's and then she's going to add hers. And we've got 4 bonus R's for you at the end. So just to introduce myself, next slide, if that's okay.
Yeah. Oops. Voila.
Yeah. So just to introduce me, I think most of you know me, Alex Hughes, Director of Auxilium Business Consulting, 6 years helping small business owners, service-based business owners rather, find solutions to ensure that they run their businesses effectively and efficiently. So I do this in many ways via audits, project management, office management and sustainability services. I've got a CSR accreditation, a silver accreditation for my own business now, and I help SMEs sow the seeds of sustainability in their core strategies for their business. So that's me. Over to you, Sarah.
And what about me? So welcome again and thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sara Ibrahim and I moved to London from Italy more or less 7 years ago and I became a style interpreter. What does it mean? I help mainly women 40 plus to reinterpreting or interpreting themselves into clothing and colors, especially when it comes to brand identity, business owner, the clothes you wear and how you play, with those clothes it's extremely important because it's all about the messaging you want to deliver talking to your business. But it's also important when it comes to you as a woman, especially transitioning into different chapters of our lives. It could be perimenopause, menopause, career change, changing lives, what we wear and the reason why we decide what we wear. It's extremely important, especially from a sustainable point of view. Now, let's start.
We're going to go through the 10 R's and give you 4 bonus ones just for a little bit of housekeeping. If a question comes into your mind about one of these, just put it in the chat, put the name of it, so reuse, and then just put your question and we'll come to those at the end. I'm sure lots of you know lots about it anyway, but I'm going to start with the first of my 5, which is refuse. This is the conscious act of saying no to products and services and activities that harm our planet. This is vital. So we might refuse to use single-use plastics. We might refuse to buy from suppliers that don't adhere to our sustainability efforts. We might refuse to take goodies at expos. Sorry, Nick, we might not take a pad, a pen, another mug, all those sorts of things. These sorts of things end up going in the bin. Not all of them, because I've got some useful ones, but we really should be refusing those things if we can. Refusing products in packages, try and take them loosely. Refuse single deliveries. I try and merge mine, especially with certain suppliers that can actually merge them and bring to you your orders all in one go. Refuse fast fashion. So this is those who are manufactured under exploitative labor. So buy secondhand or buy no materials. Make smart decisions straight away and early on, and refuse items that you don't need or turn out to be wasteful, because you take something, you're the one ending up putting it in landfill. And this sends a very powerful message to the manufacturers that we demand more eco-friendly options. So that's why we should refuse. The next one is sorry, Diane?
Yeah, what about the second one?
Deliberate act of reducing your consumption. So the small acts that you take collectively make huge impacts. So we are reducing waste and we're protecting the planet. So we need to limit our dependencies on types of products that avoid excess waste. So in the office, you might go paperless, you might print double-sided, you might save in the cloud, you might reduce the amount of emails, you might stop CCing people. You might reduce your dependency on your car. You might go electric, or you might share a carpool. You might cycle, you might take the bus, you might go by train. So recently we have booked a holiday to Amsterdam to go and see my daughter. We've paid extra to go on the train. You might have a turn off lights policy and turn off your laptops at the end of the day. You might cut down the length of time in your shower. You might fix your leaks and avoid water wastage. You might have dual flush toilets. You might collect rainwater in your garden. So you might also plan your meals and don't overbuy. Store well and compost. So in our house, we have a aquabiome system, which means that the water comes from the main source, goes through a system, and it reduces our lime scale throughout the house. So there's loads of different ways that you can reduce efforts, and those are some of them. So reusing is the next one. This is finding creative ways to extend the lifespan of products and materials. This increases a circular economy, and items then can be used to their fullest extent before they get discarded. So in the race to reduce waste, businesses are prompted to reuse items instead of replacing. So for example, you might think of an office where they've got a kitchen, and they may replace all their plastic utensils or their compostable items and reusable items. They may have food containers that they store their lunch in. They may have rechargeable batteries all around the office. So they may also consider purchasing pre-owned furniture. So rather than buying new furniture for the office, they may turn around and decide to get pre-owned furniture to reduce their costs. And it's all about thinking about how you can reuse things. The next one is repurposing. This is essentially another word for upcycling, and it's interesting to see how many times you can you can use something for more than one purpose. So I get things delivered from Oddbox in cardboard boxes, and I might use that to archive things in my office. I use cups and mugs for pen holders, for example. I use binder clips to hold PC wires together. I cut up clothes for rags for my husband to clean his Porsche. I donate to secondhand sales. We've recently repainted furniture, and we put new knobs on things and given it a new lease of life, a fresh look. I use my newspaper for my cat litter, and I sometimes wrap presents in it as well. Just locally in Kingston, we have a company called Genuine Solutions, and if you've got any old iPads and iPhones and things like that, they will recycle those and give those a better use. I also recently gave some decking to a neighbour who made a bench for their garden and then returned the favour by giving me a planter made out of my decking. I also gave some slates recently to my neighbour who's mended part of their roof. We had our roof done and I had some slates left over, and they took them and they mended their roof. And another neighbour has got a broken ladder that's now their vertical plant hanger. So there's ways of saving money and promoting creativity and innovation in repurposing things. And I know that a couple of people here have repurposed and reused certain things for their wedding, a jacket and a bodice for a wedding gown, which were absolutely stunning, I have to say. And they were both worn by your mum and your dad, and now you've repurposed them in your wedding, and they were absolutely delightful. So that's just a prime example of two people sitting here who've done that. And the last one I wanted to talk to you about was recycling. So this is the way of converting waste to new products, prevents the need of raw materials extraction and energy consumption. So we all know about recycling, but do we? So everyone, whether at home or at work, should be recycling. This is critical. And we should be adhering to what our council is talking to us about with cardboard, paper, plastics, glass. And we should be using recycle bins at work. We should be using the recycle bins that we're given by the council, and only buy and choose products maybe that are made from recycled material. So recently I bought a dress from John Lewis, for example, that's made of cupra. Now I didn't know what cupra was, but it's the end result of a cotton plant that normally gets thrown away, and they can actually use cupra to make other items. And I bought a dress made of cupra. Obviously we all use our bags when we're shopping, but the main thing about recycling is educating ourselves on what we can and what we can't recycle. So many people make mistakes, so we need to separate, we need to sort, we need to find local guidelines, we need to make sure that actually we don't contaminate. By that I mean we need to clean the things that we're actually putting in the recycling. So many people just chuck food few canisters in there, and they're just full of food, food waste, and so therefore they are actually contaminated. So it's about educating ourselves regarding recycling. We all think we know it, but actually do we? So I think we need to take the time to actually take a look at the way we do actually recycle things and understand the processes that we're supposed to follow. So those are 5 examples that I've got, and I know that Sarah's got another 5, and then we've got another 4 bonus ones.
Wow, that's a really, really interesting morning. Actually, not really morning, afternoon, 14R. So let me start from my first one. Restock. Why restock what you already have? It's quite important if you really want to be more sustainable from now, from a different perspective, professional, personally. Have you ever found, yourself in front of your wardrobe and just saying, I don't have nothing to wear. Your wardrobe is packed. You have a lot, but why you complain about that? Because you don't have a system in place. You don't know what is going on in your wardrobe. So that's why you feel confused. So being sustainable nowadays should be starting from stop wasting. Stop wasting from what you already have in your wardrobe. Stop wasting from, as Alex mentioned, what you already have in your home, in your fridge. The waste from stop wasting from different angles. So if you restock your stock properly, you will stop wasting time, money, energy, and space in your wardrobe. It's not true that your wardrobe is small. I have a lot of clients coming to me and say, yes, Sarah, but my wardrobe is small. So I get confused because of that. But do you have a system according to your wardrobe size to make you see what you already have? Because when you go buy new clothes, the majority of the times it's because you don't know, you don't remember if you have something you pretend needing. It's like, I need a new jacket, but maybe you have 3-4 jackets, in your wardrobe, but you don't see them, or you don't know where they are, or maybe they're piled underneath something else. So that's why restocking, it's extremely important. And it could be restocking all your bedroom area, right? How you restock your the chest of drawers as well. I had a client the other day and she said, well, my wardrobe is my basket. I have a basket next to my wardrobe. I don't even open my wardrobe because I have everything I use over and over in the basket. And then she came to me saying, I'm bored, I feel guilty because I know that this is a waste and it's not the right way, to stock my clothes. And it doesn't matter if you spend few pounds for a t-shirt, but that's a resource you invested in that £5 in terms of your money, your energy, your effort, choosing that t-shirt and bringing, that t-shirt in your place. So restocking your belongs, and from my personal perspective as a stylist, of course, your clothes, it should be a very important R for you for being more sustainable. Repairing. I love tailors. Tailors are my best friends, right? I bring quite often my clients to tailors because what we don't see when it comes to a piece of clothing, they can see it. Alex mentioned creativity. Creativity, it should be one of our, core values nowadays for being more sustainable and for starting actually from what you already have, right? Because this is the point. We complain because we are facing this economical crisis, but why don't we start from our own resources first? Because we've been lucky. We've been buying actually a lot, and I'm not just talking about clothes, but a lot in terms of resources. Our homes are full of resources if we start looking at them from a more sustainable approach. Repairing. You have a hole in your jacket, you don't dismiss it just because of that. You try to make it maybe different, creative. You go to a tailor, you ask someone, how can I repair, this jacket? A jacket can become something else, right? Because as I said, tailors and experts in the fashion system, they can see what you don't see, but not just because, it's not good or bad. It's just because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know that you might actually repair that piece of clothing in a really fun and creative way. Reselling. So the reselling, Vinted, right? I'm sure you have heard, you know, about the Vinted, this platform really well known where people can resell, can buy secondhand. I like the idea that Alex as well has mentioned going for secondhand. I post, you know, quite constantly, you know, about the beauty of wearing secondhand, being unique. You know, when you wear secondhand, when you go for vintage, I love, guys, that you had this kind of really interesting, you know, way of dressing yourself during your wedding, because it was you. Nobody else is going to be like you know, not just on the wedding day, but playing with clothes, playing with secondhands, playing with vintage or anything coming, you know, from other resources can really help us to acknowledge and embracing our uniqueness. And we should actually be unique, despite of what, you know, the fashion system and anything else, you know, keeps saying. So why reselling is important? Because it helps the circularity about and around clothing, starting from a styling perspective, but about and around every resource we already have. Just let me add something important in here. Going back to Vinted, but I can mention eBay, I can mention any other platforms. Don't use those secondhand platforms just as a better replacement for fast fashion. What I mean, I have a lot of clients coming to me and say, oh, I bought a lot of secondhands. It was everything was cheap on Vinted or whatever, but they bought it just because these pieces were cheap, you know, so there was not really a need to buy those pieces. So that's why we should educate ourselves into a better understanding when it comes to sustainability, not just copying and pasting what fast fashion has done, you know, in the last 25 years. Small prices, really bad quality, people buying crazily. If you go for vintage, if you go for secondhand, don't replace this mindset, but try to find the right way to get into this kind of mentality, sustainable mentality. The other one, the other R, I really would like to share with you, it's redistribute. I can't really say it. I love it, but I'm still struggling with that. Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much. And I love that this girl, this lady is wearing and fashion waste. And you can see what is in front, you know, this girl. A lot of waste, a lot of buying. I don't like it. I chuck it. I bring everything I don't like to my charity shop. God bless them. I'm not saying that they don't do an amazing job. My first experience in UK was managing a charity shop. I did it for 2 years, one of the best experience ever, but also because I could see the behind the scenes. When I was crazy because I didn't get donations, but when I was crazy because I got too much and I couldn't do what can I do with all these donations? So these donations went to landfill. I'm sorry to break some hearts, but this is how it works. Or sometime they went into another let's say market, you know, which is again, it ends up, you know, somehow to landfill. So when we have to redistribute, Alex?
Redistribute,
yeah, that we should actually look at the whole picture. So the core in here is try to keep what we already have as long as possible. We make what we have last longer, and we try actually to drive, you know, these resources into different options, into different markets. So it could be exchanging, it could be swapping, not just donating. So again, don't get me wrong, there's nothing against donation, but you should actually maybe find other options before just donating your clothes. Last but not least, oh my God, I love this picture. Reassess. What does it mean? In here, you see a guy, a girl, who knows, you know, an individual wearing this jacket, but wearing this jacket blazer in a quite, let's say, different, funny, creative way. What do I mean with that? I have a lot of clients coming to me and say, listen, Sarah, I have I mean, the big part of my wardrobe is just full of corporate, let me say, dress code, blazers, blouses, everything that comes from my past chapter. Don't make me look at them. So my question is, why do you still have them in your wardrobe if they don't serve you anymore? Because they feel guilty. They are new. Maybe they spend a lot of money because they are designer, they're really high quality. I mentioned vintage. Maybe they got lucky because they had blazers, I don't know, 30 years ago. You don't get rid of a blazer you bought 30 years ago because the quality of that blazer, that whatever material is, you don't get it now unless you pay a lot, much more than what you used to pay 30 years ago. So you better keep it. But if you keep it just like that, you don't wear it, that's not sustainable, right? So why reassess? Because I help them and I always, you know, try to make them see those kind of pieces from a different perspective. A jacket, ladies and gentlemen, is just a jacket. It's not what we thought, you know, when we used to wear that jacket. It's not that toxic environment you came from. It's not the not healthy relationship you had with your manager or your colleagues coming from your corporate environment, right? Your past chapter. That's a jacket. So you look at the jacket, you are reassess jacket. I'm talking about, I mean, jacket, it could be a blazer, it could be whatever you want. I quite often, you know, talk about jackets and blazers because everybody has at least one jacket and one blazer, right? Because it's a quite handy, versatile piece. You chuck on, you know, a blazer and wow, your outfit, you know, breathe. It's instantly, you know, smarter and you get that twist. You do it, Alex? Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, thank you. So reassess in terms of try to be creative again and try to look at those pieces from different perspective and try to make room into your new life, right? New resources and priorities, sorry, and needs here and now. And we have 4 other actually R's. You want to go for the first 2 R's, new R's, Alex?
Say as well, just some thoughts on some of the things you said, but one of the things I do with restocking is I belong to ecology and I plant trees, so that whenever somebody's gone through one of my processes, one of my contracts, I now plant 50 trees as a thank you. And a couple of things for I know people who live around this area. So once a month, I think in Kingston Marketplace, there's a Kingston repair shop. So you can take a broken electricals and various different pieces, and there's people in there who can help you to mend them. So it's useful to know that. There's also a huge vintage warehouse in Worcester Park. I can't remember the name of it, but if you Google it, you'll find it. And also another good thing for redistribution is food banks and us offering food or buying extra items in supermarkets and giving to our local food bank, who I know are very, very busy in Kingston. So it's just a few thoughts as we went through.
Good. Do you want to go for the 2, 3 R's?
Yeah, so I think a lot of these are stem from our education and our thinking about and our awareness about sustainability, the choices we make, the collaborations we have, and taking action now. So I think we need to regularly assess what we do. I think the screen, move the screen on. But the thinking is the principle about changing the way we think about the consumption of waste. And we need to often question our assumptions about what we need and what is truly valuable. Rotting, I'll let you read all that, but basically it's about composting, and we've got a huge wormery in our garden, and I think it's very useful to start composting and looking at the ways we can turn organic matter into things that we can put on our gardens. I know a lot of us are very keen on gardening. So they were a couple of extra R's we thought about, and I'll hand over to you for the last two.
Regift. How many times we get gifts we don't like? Come on, let's be honest. Everybody, you know, has been there once. So what's wrong if you know, what we don't like, or maybe we don't need it because we have plenty, you know, of those, let's say, whatever, X, Y, Z. And then record, make a note of all your impact you are making in your small business toward your sustainability journey, because like that, you don't have to go back to something that you have just done. So it's just going through this process. But now we would like to share our contacts with you as well. So the lovely Alex in here. So you have just to scan it, right? And you can get into that. I mean, Alex guided me through this amazing tool. You scan it and you get instantly into the LinkedIn page. That's beautiful. I was really wow. And so in here you have Alex, and in here you have myself. Perfect. And I will stop sharing right now. Here we go. Perfect.
So there's no questions in the chat, Sarah, but Di's just commented that she now has a new repair shop. So I think there's a shop near her, and these are becoming far more popular now. And I think possibly from the repair shop on the TV, that program where you see these people with absolutely fantastic skills. And actually, talking about that type of thing, it's actually renewed people who had old skills and allowed people to learn new skills when trying to repair things or refurbish something. So I think that's been a huge benefit. That program has been amazing. I think it won. Did it win a BAFTA or something recently? It's won some award recently. That the program has been amazing.
Yeah. And okay, the talk about what can we recycle and what condition they need to be in. Very useful. Thank you, Nick.
I just think it's about considering all these things. I mean, we're all busy people, but it's about making those new choices in business or personally. The next time you want to buy something, is it necessary? Can I repair it? And if you buy something, can I repurpose something else? So it's making all those choices and making those decisions before you do anything, really. And I think it needs to become the core of what we all do. And I know Di, for example, has been doing this for yonks, so this is old stuff to her. But you know, and just the beauty of seeing Nick in his dad's jacket and Justine in her mum's bodice part of her wedding dress, that was just like amazing. Interesting to hear about prioritization, reuse before recycling.
Yeah, because it's all about make everything, you know, lasting longer. So you reuse, you try actually to be more creative, you know, in that point. So guys, you don't have to focus on all of them, you know, because I can see, I mean, when I started my journey, it was like, oh my God, where to start? I think that we can start from 1 R, 2 R's at the time, and then we go, you know, we add new R's, you know, into our journey, because otherwise it could be quite stressful as well, right? So this is something that I always like, you know, to share. We don't have to do everything in one go, but at least we start. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had a shirt the other day that my husband put in the wash, had it shrunk. Not happy. Anyway, it shrunk to my daughter's size. So she came around and I said, do you want this? Oh, yes, please. So instead of cutting it up for rags, she's worn it to her new job. So, you know, a catastrophe ended up being a useful situation.
Good.
But yeah, we just wanted to share our conversations that we'd had, share it with everyone else, see how you can all, I mean, you know, I'm sure you're all doing more than you think anyway, but it's just good to have a conversation about these things and keep this conversation going and making sure that everyone understands what they can and can't do. So Yeah, Juliet, not seeing too many people is a good thing. And actually unsubscribing from lots of emails so you don't get junk in your inbox is a crucial thing. We've all got far too many emails in our inbox and half the things we do not need. And it's not a problem to unsubscribe. You know, it may have been something that you subscribed to yonks ago, which you don't need anymore. So it's better to cut it all down.
And be more sustainable energy wise. That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely. We've just recently had an EPC on our house, and we've gone up to a C now, so we're quite pleased about that. Brand new houses are an A or an A+, but most of the houses around us are about an E or a D. So we were delighted that what the things we've done in the house to make it more sustainable have actually made a difference to our EPC rating on the house, which is now going to be important for when you sell your house, which we've tried to do recently, because people are looking at ratings on houses now.
Absolutely. So if we don't have any other questions or anything else, we might actually, wrap up. What do you think?
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We just wanted to share our conversation that we had and expand it out a little bit. I'm sure there's going to be more R's to add to our 14. Yeah, just wanted to help sort of generate some responses and give you some thoughts that we've been discussing. And I'm sure there'll be more of these sort of half-an-hour chats coming up another time soon. But thank you very much for listening, guys. Thanks for taking half an hour or 40 minutes out of your time. And I hope that was useful.
Thank you very much, guys.
Definitely.
Speak soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, Nick. Bye-bye. And I will stop. Okay.
I just saved the chat because there were some nice comments.
Yeah. Oops. No. Oops. Recording file will be covered. Okay. So I should have